Today's show also brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Well, we may have won the election. The fight to restore our great nation's only beginning. Now's the time not only to take a stand, but take a stand with the right companies, and Patriot Mobile is leading the charge. They're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. Patriot Mobile offers a way to vote with your wallet without compromising on quality or convenience. Patriot Mobile just isn't about exceptional cell phone service alone. It's a call to action to defend our rights and our freedoms. With Patriot Mobile, you get outstanding nationwide coverage because they operate on all three major networks. You have cell phone service today, you can get cell phone service with Patriot Mobile with a coverage guarantee. But the difference is this. Every dollar you spend with Patriot Mobile supports a company that believes in the First and Second Amendments, the sanctity of life, our veterans, and our first responders. Switching's easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their 100% U.S.-based customer support team will help you find the perfect plan. So right now, switch to Patriot Mobile. Go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Get a free month of service with promo code Dan. Switch to Patriot Mobile today and defend freedom with every call and text you make. Visit patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Thank you, Patriot Mobile. All right, fellas, let's go. Very quick weekend update because I really don't have time. Folks, the health and fitness segment I did on the radio show on Friday in my last hour, I cannot believe the feedback we got. It was like nothing I've ever done before. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys on this. You can vote in the chat right now why for yes, good idea, and for no, terrible idea. But I'm thinking of adding, because I don't want to take away from, the show is a political show, okay? I'm not going to take away every week. But I'm thinking of adding on the podcast maybe a bi-weekly or a monthly hour-long segment with fitness and health people where we can go into some of the life hacks I talked about, because the feedback I got about it was crazy. How does that factor in to the weekend update? Excuse me. Still actually getting over that thing, but feel great, by the way. I did a 72-hour fast this weekend, so I did 3 straight days with no food. I worked. Listen, by the way, seriously, definitely, if you're planning on doing this, you better check with your doctor first. If you have low blood sugar or pre-diabetes, this is probably not for you. However, I do it about twice a year. It was really difficult. This is the worst one I've ever done. I think it's because I didn't have a lot of caffeine. Usually I have black coffee or green tea, obviously no sugar in it or any like honey or anything like that. So I did 3 days because I'm terrified of getting cancer again, not to be a weirdo about it, and this autophagy kicks in after about 48 to 72 hours where your body starts to eat up old misfolded proteins and damaged cells. And I'm going to tell you something. I ate this morning for the first time in 3 days. And man, I feel like $1 million. So just throwing that out there. If I sound a little wired today, it's probably because my brain is operating on glucose for the first time in 3 days rather than ketones. And I have been intensely focused all morning. All right. So enough of that. Nothing else happened this weekend because I was fasting, so I didn't want to go out. So no partying, no nothing. Folks, the Mexico thing is insane. I'm going to get to that. Trump is, I don't know how many times I have to explain this to people. Please get it through your heads, left-wing lunatics. We don't understand Trump. He's a fascist. He's a Nazi. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. The guy is transactional. I don't know how many times I have to tell you this. He is not going to get into the emotions of this. We're imposing tariffs or you're going to fix this. That's the equation. He doesn't care about how people feel about it, what the media says. All of a sudden, a call in Mexico happens this morning. Oh, look, we're going to help you fix the border. Oh, okay. We'll get to that. But I got a couple other things to get through because the left-wing media is still in shell shock over what happened. And I told you there was going to be this period here of disarray and internal Democrat chaos. That obviously includes the media, Axios as well. They're all part of the same party, right? They still don't know what happened after this election. That is why it is an imperative right now that we get the right people in there and we move quickly and break stuff. Break stuff that's broken. That way we can fix it. The broken stuff needs to be really broken. That way we can fix it. We've got to move fast. The Democrats still don't know what's going on. I read this weekend in Axios by Mike Allen. And seriously, I was not sure initially if this was sarcasm or not. This is obviously a left-wing outlet. They note reality check, talking about how Trump they think is breaking norms. Democrats have a religious devotion to norms and institutions that Republicans don't share. Bro, is this freaking real? Mike Allen, is this real? It's a unique feature of Trumpism to despise the deep state mainstream media and checks on executive power. Dude, what the are you talking about? Democrats have a religious devotion to norms and institutions. Is this freaking real, dude? You talking about the Mar-a-Lago raid? Wait, what? That's a norm? Michael, how many times have we raided an ex-president's home and his wife's underwear drawer? Do you know? He's going to say as a math major 0. He's like, I think it's the concept of absolute zero, the absence of value, like it never happened. Hey, Mike, bro, what the f are you talking about, bro? The Mar-a-Lago raid never happened. Multiple impeachments on fake made-up crimes like a fake insurrection and a fake quid pro quo deal in Ukraine, even though we released the transcript of the call. When does that happen? How many presidents, Michael, do you know that have been impeached twice over fake crimes? Just throw it out there. He's going to say same number, which is no number, which is 0. It is the absence of actual numerical value. 0. 0. I'll throw another one at it. A Spygate, collusion hoax. How many fake international near World War III type scenarios were started over a fake collusion hoax with a nuclear-powered enemy by Adam Schiff, Hillary Clinton, the Democrat machine? The answer is freaking 0. Mike, wake up, bro. I know your Axios outlet pretends to be kind of center left. This is crazy shit, dude. Democrats have a religious devotion to norms. I sincerely, and I mean this, because I actually like reading Axios, even though it's turning more and more communist by the day. You should seriously revise this or get in a new line of work. Freaking embarrassing. Reality check. Bro, talk about a reality check. Also, I saw this war clandestine tweet this morning about USAID. Folks, I put it after this because this is happening right now. You know, we're 2 weeks into the Trump administration. USAID is already being purged. USAID, we have done extensive, leave this up for a second. We have done extensive segments with Mike Benz, Deep State Mike Benz, who dissects the deep state all the time. He's the best guy at it. USAID is not an aid organization. It is a U.S. government entity that provides a slush fund for every single deep state censorship mission around the world you've probably ever heard of. You know, it's happening. USAID's being purged. Elon's openly pointing out that USAID had a role producing bioweapons like COVID-19 and kill millions. He says, ladies and gentlemen, I think we did it. I think it's actually happening. If we continue on this trajectory, deep state oligarchs and NGOs will be directly implicated in crimes against humanity, and the world will demand justice. The right people are in control of government, and they know where the bodies are buried. I don't know this person, but I've never heard anything more accurate. Folks, contrasts. Contrasts are powerful. Sound bites are powerful. Snapshots are powerful. The right people are in charge. The dissecting the deep state machine is happening right now, and the contrast being created between deep state Biden and Obama and this Trump sandwich we had in between are now absolutely priceless. There is so much good stuff happening this weekend. I had a hard time cramming it at the beginning of the show so you didn't miss anything. You may, in the volume of information, drinking from an open fire hydrant, you may have missed this. Donald Trump on True Social. This was this weekend. This morning, I ordered precision military airstrikes on senior ISIS attack planners in Somalia. These killers were hiding in caves, threatening the U.S. and our allies. He notes at the end, we will find you and we will kill you. Where is it? Where, folks? I can't take it. Michael can't take it either. I can't. Maybe the people's elbow. You got to give Justin. I can't take the winning anymore. I can't take it. We still have not broken the Rock'em Sock'em robots. Amazingly. Although the Trump face on the Rock'em Sock'em robots is green. I can't take the winning anymore. Folks, my blood pressure can't handle all this winning. I can't handle it. Michael can't handle it. Justin's walking out of the room. He's like, I'm 10 minutes in. No more winning. No more winning today. We don't have enough time in the show to cover all this winning. Poor guys come in. We have these thing called floaters. I do a rundown the night before, and then between last night and this morning, I throw more elements in the show. They're called floaters because they're not in the rundown voicemail I leave. Why do you guys care? I'm just telling you. So in the morning, there's like 100 floaters because it's all winning. Michael's like, I'm sick of the winning. No more floaters. Can we do a winning hiatus? No, we can't. No, we cannot. We will not do a winning hiatus. There will be no hiatus of winning. None. Now, I mentioned contrast. You think I just randomly threw that in there? Because obviously I'm kidding. I love the winning. Keep the winning coming. I don't care if really, it is irrelevant if we cover all the winning in my show. It is. If there's so much winning we can't cover it, fine. We'll cover it on social media later. We'll make it. We'll do a special, a winning special. But contrasts matter, folks. And seriously, you got Trump whacking a bunch of ISIS terrorists saying, yeah, we'll kill you if you F with us again. You've got the Democrats who still think they're religiously devoted to norms and institutions. That was funny. You got a censorship organization in USAID. That's a front group for the deep state getting pretty much wiped out. Mexico basically folds this morning. And what are the Democrats doing? What, Trump's kicking everybody's ass? Rock'em sock'em robot style? What are the Democrats doing? One of these days, these things are going to explode. Although they're pretty hard plastic. I'm not sure. They're pretty robust. The The Democrats chose a new party leader at their convention this weekend. They picked Ken Martin from Minnesota. But they have to pick all the officers for the National Democratic Committee there. And a little fight broke out. This is real, by the way. I'm not kidding. Republicans winning. Here are the Democrats arguing over if they... It's real. I'm not shitting you, man. If they met the quotas for enough non-binary candidates on the ballot, so they had to move everything around. This is classic. Here's the Democrats versus the Republicans. Check this out.
Rules specify that when we have a gender non-binary candidate or officer, the non-binary individual is counted as neither male nor female, and the remaining 6 offices must be gender balanced. With the results of the previous 4 elections, our elected officers are currently 2 male and 2 female. In order to be gender balanced, we must elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender. So again, this is what we have to do for this vice chair race. We have to elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender. To ensure our process accounts for male, female, and non-binary candidates, we conferred with our RBC co-chair, our LGBT caucus co-chair, and others to ensure that the process is inclusive and meets the gender balance requirements in our rules.
Folks, I swear to you, I just said to the boys here, I was going to cut this thing off early, and I thought, no, let's enjoy and savor every second of that. So I let the thing play out. L. Chumley in the chat says, I hope the Dems keep this shit up. Please bring Kamala to run again. Yes, L. Chumley, comment of the day. And thank you, what is it, Red Pill Media for rating the stream. And I saw 1776 earlier. You guys are great. Appreciate the stream raids on Rumble. I'm going to have to raid a stream one day. That'd be crazy, right? Blow up your whole thing. Imagine that. We raid someone's stream with like 180,000 people or something coming in. Folks, I want to play. That is the Democrat Party. Do you understand they learn nothing? There's a reason I put the show in the order I did. It tells a consistent narrative in the beginning opening chapter of the show. Mike Allen from Axios actually believes that the Democrats are loyal to norms and institutions, despite no evidence that's absolutely, they've learned the truth. They've learned nothing from the election. And the Democrat leadership is now obsessed with G, J, Zhao, Zhou, LGBTQIA, BIOPC, 2+9 binary, spiritual. This is all they care about. Nothing Trump is actually doing they care about or have contributed to. This is their entire agenda, is identity politics and media people lying to America. That's it. They've learned nothing. They'll listen to me. They will unscrew themselves. I promise you. But it's not going to be anytime soon. We've got 2 years. We've got 4 years. No, we don't. Two. We've got 2. The midterms are in 2 years. You start thinking we got 4 years, you're going to get screwed. I'm sitting on my earpiece here. Okay. Now, I want the contrasts matter. There's a lot of FAFOing going on too. The FAing has already happened. The effing around. The finding out part is happening now. Folks, Donald Trump is not kidding. I hate to keep saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway because it sounds self-celebratory, but I promise you, I do not, you have my word, I don't mean it that way. I said during the election when people during the primary were telling me, pick Nikki Haley. You like Nikki Haley? Fine. I'm great. Do your own thing. I didn't. I endorsed Donald Trump early. Proud of my decision to do that. I've been with him from the beginning. But I did it for a reason. Everybody's telling me he's going to be a lame duck. I said, you guys don't understand, number one, what a lame duck means. A lame duck implies he has no power. Donald Trump's greatest power is that he can't run again and already knows what to do because he understands the FAing and everyone else is going to FO. Now you're seeing it right now. The Washington Post is so flipped out about what Donald Trump is doing that now they're calling for mercy. He's laughing. This is an actual headline. Washington Post, Colbert I. King. The mercy that's missing from the White House. You want mercy now? There's no mercy. We're not the mercy. Folks, this is people's elbows. There's no mercy time. Now, I want to be clear. I would never, ever, ever recommend to anyone, because I'm an actual constitutionalist, that anyone violate the Constitution or their own morality while they're in office to do things. You don't do that. That is a dispositive period, full stop statement, okay? However, using the levers of government to right a wrong that happened to America under the Donald Trump 4-year out of office period where he was ruthlessly targeted by a corrupt government, that is the government's job. Mercy? This is a tactical matter. Tactical, what do you mean? If the left that weaponized government in violation of what I believe the law and the Constitution is not taught a lesson by a judicial system that is designed to teach lessons. You rob someone, the lessons are you go to jail. If you guys broke the law, which I believe you did, if we investigate and find nothing, we find nothing. But I believe there's a lot there. And if we don't do anything about it, you will have learned nothing. Mercy, mercy my ass. Absolutely nobody showed mercy for the hard left targeting Donald Trump. You guys loved you salivated over it. Now you're going to see what that's like. I'm not about retribution. I'm about justice. Those are two different things. Those are not the same thing. Now, I want to get to the important matter that just happened this morning. I'm going to take a quick break, but folks, how many freaking times we got to go over this with the tariffs thing and elsewhere? Not you guys, but to the media dipshits who do not understand Donald Trump. I am trying to help you. This is the most popular MAGA show anywhere. Live stream, AOD, VOD, we rule, OTT, Rumble, we kick ass. You want to understand the MAGA space, come here. You don't? Go watch another show. Donald Trump is a spreadsheet guy, period. You keep appealing to his emotion and stuff. Don't do tariffs? That's mean. Really? It's mean? You know what's mean? Drugs crossing our border, tariffs on our products, taking advantage of our military support as a member of NATO and not doing your own job. That's what's freaking mean. He's a spreadsheet guy. How many times I got to tell you this? You appeal to his emotion, you will lose. He is not emotional about it. He sees problems as a spreadsheet. Wake up. Show you what I mean in a second. We're going to go through this whole tariffs thing, what it means, what it doesn't mean. Again, we're going to be honest about tariffs. They are taxes. Anyone telling you otherwise is lying. However, there's a plus and a minus to this if used the right way, and you're going to see what happens. Hey, let's talk about one of the biggest scandals in modern history, inflation. When inflation rises, the cost of everything skyrockets. But what's the truth? Is it just bad luck or poor planning? Policy decisions are being made, many coming from the Federal Reserve. That's why you need to check out Playing with Fire, Money, Banking, and the Federal Reserve, an absolutely powerful new documentary from the Mises Institute. This film examines how the Fed's reckless policies have driven up inflation, crushed savings, and enriched the elites, all while leaving ordinary Americans struggling. It is very powerful and worth your time. The Mises Institute has warned about the dangers of the Fed for decades, predicting both the 2008 financial crisis before it happened and skyrocketing inflation we're all feeling right now and today. The film gives you a perspective the elites don't want you to hear. When you visit Mises.org/Bongino, Mises.org/Bongino by May 31st, 2025, sign up to get a free copy of What Has Government Done to Our Money? It is an essential guide to understanding how government manipulation of money could be eroding your freedom and wealth. It's powerful stuff. Don't wait. Head to Mises.org, Mises.org/Bongino, Mises.org/Bongino right now. Watch the documentary, and if you visit by May 31st, sign up to claim your free book while supplies last. That's Mises.org/Bongino, Mises.org/Bongino. Watch. You want to understand inflation? Watch it. You'll see exactly what I mean. All right, back to the show. Folks, I've been candid about about tariffs for a long time, and unlike leftists in the media who will lie to you and say, Democrats love norms and institutions. Yeah, sure, bro. Okay. I don't change my mind on things. Tariffs are taxes. They are basically taxes on, very simply, taxes on goods that are imported into the United States. Canada imports, say, wheat into the United States, and there's a 10% tariff. That tax is added on to that import value, which will make Canadian wheat more expensive. Now, obviously, Canadian, say, wheat producers or milk producers, I bring up dairy for a reason. Canada tariffs are dairy heavily, right? Obviously, the producers don't want this. They want to sell into the United States. So if their wheat is 10% more expensive, people aren't going to buy wheat from Canada. They'll buy it from the United States. Now, what winds up happening there? There are some countries who produce things cheaper. There are things, we don't want to produce cheaper. I'm giving you the straight skinny. Rubber dog toys are not a thing we're really prioritized in making in the United States. Our people are the smartest workforce in the world. We want to build cars. We want to build AI. We want to build software. We want to build jet engines. We want to build high value-added stuff because rubber dog toys, there are small margins. People who work in a rubber dog toy business don't make a lot. People who make jet engines do. So we want to make good stuff. However, a lot of stuff has been outsourced out of the United States over the years because other countries tariff our stuff, making it more expensive to import into their country, so people move production out of our country. Donald Trump, as you can see from his True Social post, said this weekend, I'm not kidding about these tariffs on Mexico and Canada. He said, you basically have till this week, I'm going to impose a 25% tariff almost across the board outside of energy on Canada. Now, folks, I've told you many times, if Donald Trump is doing this tactically to combat Canadian tariffs and drug running from both the northern and southern border into the United States and can get Canada to move, this is transactional Trump winning. Cue up the Schumer one first. All the Democrats right now, by the way, attacking Donald Trump on this tariff plan seemed to have a different perspective a long time ago. Hat tip the great Maze Moore, Mazemoor on X. Here's Chuck Schumer, Democrat leader in the Senate, back in 2018 on tariffs, which sounds exactly like the Donald Trump position today. And now all of a sudden they're taking the opposite position. Why? Because unlike me, they're phonies and fakes, and they'll lick their finger and see which way the wind is blowing. Check this out.
Look, I think the president's doing the right thing. China has been taking advantage of us for two decades. They're stealing our intellectual property, which means stealing our good-paying jobs. And I, frankly, am closer on this issue, not on many, but on this issue with President Trump than I was with Presidents Bush or Obama, because they did nothing to tell China off. Now, China, of course, will respond. But if they know we're strong and we're not going to back off, they will back off. They have far more to lose than we do. They have a $300 billion trade surplus with us. So I'm looking out, number one, for jobs. If General Electric moves jobs to China, they're not unhappy. But my New York workers in Schenectady are unhappy. And so you can't let the international business companies who don't give a hoot about where their factories are govern this. You have to do what's good for the American worker.
All I'm asking, folks, is for some intellectual consistency on this. Schumer and the Democrats are taking the exact opposite position now. Tariffs can be a valuable negotiating tool, but they are a tax. It's okay to be candid about what you're doing. You are taxing a foreign product imported into the United States in order to either incentivize production of said value-added product in the United States or You are doing it as a negotiating tool to say, we are going to tariff you until you stop tariffing us. Look up Canada's tariffs on the United States, folks. On some products, they're significant. So for all the people out there pretending that, oh, this is retribution. Retribution for what? It's retribution, if anything. And by the way, the citizens of Canada, this is not, nothing to do with you. The Canadian economy is struggling because you've got terrible leadership in Trudeau and other people. But here's going to be the next prime minister, who, by the way, is all in on re-tariffing back. So Poilievre, who I like, but I think he has to be a little bit candid here about what's going on. Here Poilievre, who's going to be the next leader of Canada. Well, these guys way ahead of the polls. Here he is a little while ago talking about Canada. By the way, that Schumer segment was about China, I understand, but the same exact argument applies. Here's Poilievre talking about the fentanyl problem, tariffs, and other things. Again, appeared to agree with Trump before he disagreed with Trump. Check this out.
Results are in on the Prime Minister's radical liberalization of hard drugs. He teamed up with the BC NDP to decriminalize fentanyl, crack, and heroin. He lowered jail sentences for mass producers of deadly fentanyl. And 80% of the fentanyl made in Canada is done so using ingredients that are not even regulated, but come right into our country where they're cooked into that poison, now threatening our trade relationship with the U.S. Will he reverse his radical liberal drug agenda to save lives and jobs?
So when Donald Trump talks about, hey, we got a fentanyl problem from the northern border too, he's not making it up. It's the next leader of Canada is going to take Trudeau's place, saying the exact same thing. Next PM, he's saying the same thing. He can say whatever he wants now. This stuff lives forever. This is a real issue. Showing you again that this guy, Donald Trump, President Trump, is about results. This just happened before we came on the air. Donald Trump, True Social. I just spoke with Mexican President Sheinbaum. It was a friendly conversation. She agreed to immediately supply 10,000 Mexican troops on the border, separating Mexico and the United States to stop the flow of drugs and illegal migrants. He agrees to immediately pause the anticipated tariffs. Do I have to read that again? Trump agrees to immediately pause the tariffs for a month, during which they will have negotiations with Rubio, Secretary of State, Besson from Treasury, and Howard Lutnick from Commerce, and high-level representatives in Mexico. He looks forward to participating in those negotiations with President Sheinbaum as we attempt to achieve a deal between our two countries. Mike Allen, Axios, and everyone out there trying to understand us red hat wearing lunatics. They're all fascist Nazis. 10,000 Mexican troops on the border to stop fentanyl traffic. That's been going on under the Biden administration for 4 years and before, but not to the degree it was under the Democrat administration we just got rid of. Where are your results on how come Biden couldn't do that? Trump's been in office how long, fellas? That's right, 2 weeks. Like a deuce, 400. 2 weeks, the deuce. 2 weeks. How come Biden couldn't do that? I understand a bunch of our kids are dying. You know, fentanyl kills you, you know. A little bit of fentanyl kills you. You know that, right? You get dead. I was going to wear the don't get dead shirts. Fentanyl gets you dead quick. And a lot of people around you. Why? Why do you get that done? Why? Tariffs are so bad. I told you what tariffs are. I told you exactly what they are. They are taxes. They can induce some economic dislocation. When you use them as a negotiating tool, he already paused the damn tariffs because he got what he wanted. Because he's a spreadsheet guy. If Trudeau, Poilievre, or anyone else in Canada does not give him what he wants and open up trade and do something about the Canadian border, then he's going to put on the tariffs. I don't know what to tell you. I love Canada. I've been there. It's a beautiful place. I'm just telling you, fix it, or he sees it as he's not mad at you. No, he is. No, he's not. I just spoke with President Sheinbaum. He knows. Put it up again. What's the next line? Read it. What's the next line, Justin, after I just spoke with President Sheinbaum? What does it say? No, it doesn't say that. Justin says it was a friendly conversation. Trump doesn't like us. Really? He just said it was friendly. He doesn't care. Do what he wants because it's best for both parties, and you know it. To Canada, I love our Canadian friends that listen to the show. We have a huge audience. I get your emails. You guys are wonderful. Wonderful. Your leaders are horrible. The taxing and tariffing of American dairy products and other things, the fentanyl trafficking, we need help. Let's not pretend that Canada and Mexico, we benefit from trade with Canada and Mexico, period, full stop, we do. But it's up to Canada and Mexico both to acknowledge you benefit significantly from the biggest superpower in the history of the universe being to the north and south of you, respectively. You don't have to spend 50% of your income defending from constant invasions because you have the benefit of the U.S. military just south and north. We're in NATO with Canada. They were one of the original 12 members. NATO, they don't have to, they've contributed greatly, but who's carrying most of the load? We are. Fair enough? Sorry about all the sound effects. I know it's horrible. I'm like 100%, but my lungs are still recovering a little. Perfect timing. Was that a hint? I got more on this coming up, by the way. Some moron left this absolute tool bag on Twitter, put up a video of me not realizing I was going to make an ass out of this dope. He's like, I can't believe this guy. You don't know what he's talking about. The rich people don't pay any tax. They don't. Really? You have any actual data to back that up? What's that? No, never, ever. We've never actually mentioned who pays taxes on the show. All right, quick break. We'll get back to the show. Hey, I just got back from a holiday trip, and you know who saved me? I'm going to do my own read here, okay? All family, oh, look at it, put that on the camera. All family pharma, no joke. 2 family trips, actually. I told you I was in Spain on a great vacation. I got super sick. Thankfully, called my doctor, had some symptoms of what was likely the flu, took the medication I already had, no joke, all family pharma. Folks, I was better in 2 days. I was fine. I just got sick again coming back from the inauguration crud. You can hear me. I'm still kind of still getting over it a little bit. Thankfully, again, called my doctor. He said, I think you should take this. I looked at my All Family Pharma kit, already had it. Just called up All Family Pharma again. Paula's going to Colorado. Take my daughter on a little ski trip. I'm not going. I need to teach my daughter how to ski. She wants to learn. Her friends do it. So they're going to Colorado. I called up Teresa from Western One. I said, call All Family Pharma. I need another kit. They said, you got it. Here does it work? You want to get these life-saving medications, antibiotics, hydroxychloroquine, blood pressure meds, you name it, no hassle, no red tape. Once you qualify for a prescription, they deliver fast. 2 to 4 days, even overnight if it's urgent. Stock up now and be ready for just about anything. Go to allfamilypharma.com/Bongino. Don't wait. All Family Pharma makes it simple. You can customize your order, get a comprehensive package tailored to your needs. You don't need to see a doctor. They evaluate your request, provide the prescriptions that are right for you. It works for you, healthcare, not against you. Be proactive when it comes to your health. Here's what you have to do. Write this down. Go today. allfamilypharma.com/Bongino. Order online. Use code Bongino10 for 10% off your entire order. Again, do it today. allfamilypharma.com/Bongino. Code Bongino10 for 10% off. Check them out. You're going to love them. All Family Pharma and its products are not intended as a substitute for professional medical treatment or advice. Consult with your healthcare provider. Thanks for saving my butt twice. Our last sponsor today is LifeLock. During tax season, your sensitive info does a lot of traveling to places you can't control, stopping off at payroll, your accountant, or a tax preparer, and countless other data centers on its way to the IRS. Any of them can expose you to identity theft because they all have the info in your W-2. Just a ticket for criminals to steal your identity. I had my identity stolen. It was horrible. I got LifeLock. I've been a customer ever since. I've never, ever had that problem again. No wonder the IRS reported tax fraud due to identity theft went up 20% last year. Get LifeLock today. Don't get your identity stolen. They monitor millions of data points per second and alert you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, backed by the $1 million protection package. Restoration's guaranteed or your money back. Don't mess around with this stuff. I dealt with this for a long time before I had LifeLock. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Get LifeLock protection for tax season and beyond. Join now. Save up to 40% for your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock. Use promo code Bongino or go to lifelock.com/Bongino for 40% off. Terms apply. Do it today. It was a mess when I had mine stolen. It took me about a year to clean that up. LifeLock. Check them out. Thanks, LifeLock. Just a couple quick data points to this Stock Talk meme. Stock Talk Weekly. Mexico's exports to the U.S. as a percentage of GDP, 35% of their GDP are exports. Canada, 22%. U.S. exports to Canada, 1.5%. U.S. exports to Mexico, 1.2%. This tweet, this Stock Talk here weekly notes, America's in charge. Ladies and gentlemen, they are. They are. I don't want these tariffs. I'm clear, okay? I've been clear. I'm never going to change my mind. But if we need these tariffs as a negotiating tool to get to freer, fairer trade with our North and South American partners, which benefit greatly from our support and being geolocated in the exact same side of the globe and hemisphere as us, then we got to get it done, okay? We got to get it done. Now, there are morons out there. I rarely highlight these idiots, but these guys knew this morning right away because they speak Bongino and Paula, which is like you have to learn both. Believe me, you had to learn both languages, not just Dan Bongino. You better learn the other language too. That could break bad fast, okay? Justin's getting it down. So I said to him this morning, I go, hey, you have that imbecile? And he's like, I do. I didn't even have to say who it was. I said, make sure you put that here. So here is some dipshit on like TikTok or Twitter or whatever. I don't even know this guy's name, but apparently this guy believes that my take that tariffs, although can be economically dislocating, can be a valuable negotiating tool to get to a better, more fairer trade system. This guy seems to think that my take on it is crazy because rich people who don't pay income taxes will now have to pay tariffs. Rich people don't pay income taxes. How do you say on Twitter, I am a dumb mother, without saying it? You do a video like this. Check this out. If Donald Trump can convince the Republican Congress to get rid of the income tax for a system of tariffs instead, ladies and gentlemen, the economy will absolutely explode like you have not seen since the Reagan years, maybe bigger.
I have a question. Why would the rich people that don't pay any income taxes pass legislation to get rid of income taxes in order to replace that with a new set of taxes, tariffs and sales taxes that would actually end up costing them more money? You see, they already don't pay income tax, so there's no benefit to them for getting rid of income tax, but they do pay taxes on all the things they buy, and rich people buy a lot of things. And if we tariff all those things, and if we increase sales taxes on all those things, that's going to negatively affect the rich people that you're asking to get rid of the income taxes that they don't even pay. Why would they get rid of something they don't pay and replace it for something that will cost them more money? They did not get rich by making stupid decisions like that. Thanks.
Is that even real? No, don't, come on, Justin. Stop putting actual fact. The reason I picked this is 1,000 websites that'll give you the actual IRS Treasury data on who pays income taxes. I actually picked this site for a reason because it's called USA Facts. And if you notice the sourcing at the bottom, it's the IRS. Leave this up. To the absolute life loser dipshit whose parents must be so dumb they passed them the stupid genes, that not only did you say this, but you said it publicly and put it on the internet advertising how freaking stupid you are. You could have looked this up in probably under 10 seconds by just putting in your favorite communist social media, whatchamacallit, internet search engine thing, bullshit Google thing. Who pays the most income tax? You could have actually figured this out yourself. I know you don't want to because facts and data aren't exactly your liberal wheelhouse. I mean, to be a liberal, you have to be freaking stupid. But you'd find out that the top 1% of earners, what you would call the evil rich people, who you just said don't pay any taxes, pay 45.8% of income. 45.8? That sounds like a lot. I thought he said we pay none. None, zero. So you're telling me 1 out of every 100 people pays almost 50 cents of every income tax dollar? Yeah. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. I mean, he could have just, look at this dipshit. I mean, this guy even looks stupid.
Thanks.
Look at this one. Thanks. Thanks, bro. You moron. Can you imagine this dipshit actually filming that, putting it on video? Can someone ask him that? And by the way, his take is totally backwards. He doesn't even understand tariffs, consumption taxes. He has no idea what he's talking about. Why would rich people, let me do a simple math equation for you. If you make $10 million a year, showing you he has the argument totally backwards, by the way, $10 million a year, and you are not paying a tax on that income, but you are paying taxes on, say, $500,000 to $1 million of consumption. Say you're paying a 20% tax via tariffs or 25% or 25% to this dipshit out there. Basic math. What's a bigger number? 25% on $1 million or 25% on $10 million? Michael, you're a math major. Do you know what a bigger number would be? The bigger number would be the bigger the number. The abacus. Where's Jay's abacus? Folks, I can't take liberals. I can't. They are the dumbest people on planet Earth. Look at this guy.
Thanks.
Wait, one more time because everything's backwards on the screen.
Thanks.
Wait, one more.
Thanks.
What a moron. Stupid ass. Here's a Yossi Gessetner. This guy's pretty funny. Hey, look what happened to Canada's economic size per person under Trudeau. A few years before Trudeau, Canada's economy, or Canada, as Karine Jean-Pierre, Canada's economy was larger than the U.S. per person. It's been in the dumps ever since. And Trudeau's worried about Donald Trump. Maybe you should free up your economy and dump a lot of these tariffs on U.S. products and clean up the border situation. And maybe you wouldn't have this issue. For those of you who can't color coordinate leftists, the USA is the one on top. Oh, man, has this been a show today? That guy got me fired up. I usually don't advertise these morons, but this guy's so stupid. I just had to blow this guy up because I just can't take stupid people. What? Oh, I know. I can see it on your screen over there. Hold on. I need some blackout. I didn't even intend it to roll this way, folks, right? Because this was a floater. Dipshit imbecile guy was a floater, folks. This was not in the original rundown. So to put two dipshits back to back, I promise you, was not intentional. We actually have a dipshit quota because I don't want to make any of you really stupid. And I feel like by feeding you stupid stuff, you're going to need like Prevagen to prevent, you know, that like brain cell, you're going to need fish oil because your brain will degenerate. So I promise, dipshit alert right now. If you've already lost too many neurons, listen to that last moron. I'm going to warn you who's coming up next. Throw them in the chat, folks. Here it is. Wait. I'm warning you. Dipshit alert early. Special appearance today by me. The grand dame of all dipshits, one Frank Fugazi. Fugazi's up next. So I'm warning, we always are dumber after Fugazi. But this is an important segment. Ladies and gentlemen, long overdue FBI reform is coming. We are going to make the FBI great again. Because if we don't have an FBI breaking up counter-terror plots trying to kill us and they're worried about Moms for Liberty and pro-lifers, then we got a problem, folks. FBI reform is coming, whether they like it or not. Here's Fugazi on MSNBC, infamous 8-8 guy, a total moron, whining on MSNBC and inadvertently, by the way, exposing how arbitrary DEI stuff screws up the FBI. I want you to notice at the end, this is him whining about them ripping root and branch DEI out of the FBI. And he brings an example up at the end about having white guys into surveillance in a minority neighborhood, inadvertently exposing how bad DEI is by just randomly putting quotas out there. But because Fugazi's a moron, he doesn't even know he's making a case against himself. Check this out.
Any semblance of diversity and inclusion is literally being wiped off the map. The New York Times put out a photo today of the walls of Quantico, the FBI Academy, where they're painting over the FBI's core values to include integrity, adherence to the Constitution, and diversity. A less diverse FBI is a less effective FBI. Try doing surveillance on the street in the inner city with two white guys. Try working undercover in a Middle Eastern terror organization with a white guy. It doesn't work that way. So we're becoming less and less safe very quickly.
Understood. I mentioned that Kash Patel disclaimed, said he opposed.
Again, I'm sorry to put these two zeros back to back, but did you notice the example Fugazi gives that completely refutes his DEI argument? Ladies and gentlemen, if you are investigating, say, a West African crime ring specializing in fraud, yes, it would be very helpful for people with experience in West African fraud. Sometimes it emanates out of Nigeria, sometimes elsewhere. There's a lot of fraud cases that happen there. Yes, it would benefit you to have some expertise. That's an actual KSA, knowledge, skills, abilities. If you just say, hey, someone from that region may have darker pigmentation in their skin and melanin, so we should randomly hire more black agents for this. You're actually he's actually refuting his own case. He's refuting his own case. He doesn't even understand that because he's too stupid. Always, always measure the effectiveness of what we're doing. Oh man, they're lighting this guy up in the chat. The chat is just on fire with this idiot. He is such a toolbox. Folks, do you get what I'm saying? Like the nuanced argument I'm trying to make that Fugazi doesn't understand because he's an idiot? Yes, if you are surveilling the Italian mob in the fish market in New York in the 80s, it would probably benefit you to find FBI agents who are maybe police officers or residents of that area and can fit in. But that's an actual knowledge, skill, and ability to blend in. It's not based randomly on you being Italian. Holy shit, is this guy stupid? Here's another one. Here's Deep State Andrew Weissman, a key figure in the spying scandal on Donald Trump, a key figure in the Bob Mueller investigation hoax, where they were investigating a hoax the entire time. Here he is freaking out about Donald Trump making a decision to get rid of a lot of FBI leaders who weaponized the entity and turned it into a really, really destructive force in American law enforcement. Check this out.
What are you hearing? What are we missing about this story that people should understand?
I'd say the main thing, in talking to you as a lawyer and the former FBI general counsel, I dealt with employment issues day in and day out at the FBI. Everything that you are hearing that from Ken, it's illegal. It is against the rules and the law it's against civil service rules. You cannot fire career FBI personnel without cause. It is simply not possible. And the idea that you have the acting deputy attorney general of the United States doing something that is against the rules, it's against the law, is the story.
I love how this absolute tool bag, this is 3 dipshits in a row, by the way, so I'm very sorry the dipshit meter's pegged. I love how this guy says you can't fire these FBI people without cause, as if there isn't a litany of actual causes. You know what? Hold the Washington Times headline. Let's go through this stuff, the House tradition. Let's just go through some causes so I can learn some of you people out there, liberals and my audience. Get ready. I'm going to learn you right now, okay? Did you guys miss all of this? Andy Weissman, House Judiciary, whistleblowers. The FBI's labeled dozens of investigations into parents with a threat tag created by the FBI's counterterrorism division. Andy Weissman may have been, there's cause for you. That's it? No, that's not it. I'm not done. Let's whip off a few more here. Heritage Foundation. FBI and DOJ twist federal law to arrest and charge a pro-life activist? Oh. You missed that, Andy? All right, that's it. No, it's not. Look. Where'd you guys come up with this? Like you sent them. I did. Justin says, your inbox? Just the news? January 6th shocker. Phone companies dispute FBI testimony on pipe bomb suspect. Key lawmaker reveals. I thought there was no cause. All right, it's definitely it. He says there's one more in the inbox. How did that happen? Newsweek exclusive. Donald Trump followers targeted by FBI as 2024 election nears. Oh, man. That Andy Weissman. I thought he said there's no cause for anything or something like that. What do I always tell you? Always measure the effectiveness of what you're doing by your opponent's response. If they're doing nothing and they're listless, folks, probably what we're doing is probably meaningless. When they freak out, we're probably doing something right. Washington Times, the acting director of the FBI refuses order to list FBI employees involved in J6 cases amid ouster of agency leaders. Kerry Pickett notes in the piece, FBI agents are said to be in a panic and a protest by employees, and former employees Monday at the Washington field office and headquarters are in the planning stages of a panic and a protest. So what are you protesting? What are you worried about? If you did nothing wrong and you were following your job, your actual job, your responsibilities, you're a GS as a government employee and investigator, what are you worried about? I don't understand. If you followed the rules and regulations, what are you worried about? That's right. Folks, I always told you to, people are policy. And I'm sorry to tell you this, but it is time for new people at the FBI. I say I'm sorry to tell you this because I wish we weren't in this position. I really do, folks. The FBI has done a lot of great things. However, the FBI has lost their way. It has been a long time now. It's not new. The FBI has lost their way, and it has filtered down into many stages of their management. The FBI has to get back to keeping America safe from its enemies, getting criminals and bad guys off the street, and interstate crime. It is not a hard mission. Now, I told you at the beginning of the show, and during the middle of the show, and during the last few years of shows, that lame duck Donald Trump is not an argument. It's a silly argument. They were always ridiculous arguments. I told you the best thing about second-term Donald Trump is that he'll never be a lame duck. Why? He has J.D. Vance, Don Jr., Eric, Laura. I mean, you could have this legacy go on forever with the Trump team. His political capital will never be zero. He's not a lame duck like Biden. What's he going to do? Have Hunter Biden run? Are they going to get a drug dealing operation running out of the White House or something like that? I mean, what was going to, what are they going to do? Find cocaine at the White House? I mean, they're already dealing with all of this nonsense. Biden didn't have a legacy. His political capital was zero. This is what I'm talking about. Here's Donald Trump on this aviation disaster this weekend that happened the past week in Reagan, which Secretary Duffy is dealing with and doing a great job. He is out there. He's been on the job less than a week. He's out there knocking it out of park. I got to tell you, for me, it's a little weird because I've known the secretary for a long time. And we've been personal friends with the family. And obviously, Evita works here. But I've always known him to be a leader. I mean, a genuine leader. I don't mean like one of these bullshit leaders who pretends to be one and then flakes out on you. So to watch him take charge of this thing just a week in office has just been, I'm trying to keep my emotions out of it because I got to be fair to you too. But I'm going to tell you, it's hard because I love this guy and he's just knocking it out of the park. But getting back to Donald Trump, this is plain talk. This is no, believe me, no pun intended, but plain P-L-A-I-N. Plain talk from Donald Trump. You better get used to it. This is transactional Trump trying to just ask, but he's not getting, I know it's hard because this is a horrible situation. Everybody wants to get emotional. You're not going to solve the problem. This guy's transactional, and this is just how he thinks. Again, you better get used to it. Check this out.
I think that we have to make sure that this never happens again. Very, very little risk. And we're taking actions that this can't happen again. The helicopter, as you know, was out of its zone. Shouldn't have been out of its zone. It was at the same height as the airplane. Now, the airplane was coming down on its track. It was perfect. It was in perfect shape coming down, and something was in its way. You can't let that happen. And it won't be happening again. And this was all because of weak rules in the Biden administration. And we're just not going to let that kind of thing happen again. And again, I could wait and I could, give a report in 2 years like they always do. And sometimes it's obvious. In this case, to me, it was very obvious. And I think I've been proven to be very correct. Yeah.
Again, I can't say it enough. You are constantly going to get your nuts kicked in by this guy. If you do not understand, he does not get emotional. It doesn't mean he doesn't care. It doesn't mean he's not passionate about things. He obviously is. He treats things as a spreadsheet. Why did this plane crash? The helicopter is at the same altitude. How the hell did that happen? I don't want this to happen again. I don't have time to get all emotional. I want to know what's going on. I could wait 2 years and issue a report. I choose not to. I want it fixed now. Get used to it, brothers and sisters, and especially lefties in the media, because this guy's going to continue to kick your ass if you don't understand. He is passionate, but not emotional. He is a transactional guy. I don't know how many times I got to tell you this. Why were you at the same altitude? Give me an answer this week. I'm not waiting 2 years for a report. There's planes in the sky now. Right now. Tens of thousands around the world today. Man, what a show today. Whew. That was a banger. 162,000. Was that our high? 162? That's crazy. We've been tearing up. Thank you for making us last week for the first time in a while, by the way. Thank you, Bongino Army. I love you, man. I'd pound my chest, but my elbows don't work. So love you. And if I do, they'll accuse me of an Elon. Today's show is not going to be for you. Okay? I'm just telling you right now. We got a lot to talk about, including Kash Patel up on the Hill yesterday, tearing it up, just like I told you. Hey, lately I spent night after night tossing and turning, waking up exhausted, feeling like I was falling behind on everything that mattered. You know what happened? I started taking Beam's Dream Powder. It works for me. It's around. Beam is proudly founded in America, run by people who share our values, hard work, integrity, and results. It's a science-backed, healthy nighttime blend packed with ingredients shown to improve sleep so you can wake up refreshed and ready to take on the day like I feel today. Dream is made with a powerful, all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. Beam's already helped improve over 17.5 million nights of sleep, helping people across the country wake up and feel their best. So here's the deal. Beam's giving my listeners the ultimate Patriot discount of 47% off. You get it? You guys get that? Okay, you get it? It took a while for some. Try their best-selling Dream Powder and get up to 47% off. Not 48, 47 for a limited time. Go to shopbeam.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino for up to 47% off. Get a good night's sleep. Support an American company. Invest in yourself. Get the best sleep of your life. All right, fellas. Got to hit that bell today. Let's get started on this Friday. Listen, there's a lot to talk about, so let me get right to it. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to state this categorically. You don't like it. This is the wrong show for you. That's okay. It's not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. I love you if you're here, but if you choose to leave, it's okay. DEI is racist. DEI is a cancer. Prove me wrong. Let me say it again. DEI is racist. It is a cancer. Prove me wrong. Okay, you can't. Folks, you cannot engage in hiring. You cannot engage in the promotion process, in the admittance to selective colleges and training programs based on skin color. If you do it, you are engaging in a racist practice. Period. I can't help you if you think otherwise. I get it. I have said it. I have spoken out against it. This country has a tough, really rough history with race, from slavery to the Civil War to Jim Crow. That is our history. We screwed a lot of things up like every country on earth did, okay? We did our best to fix it. Millions of people died and marched and did everything we can to get to a society that judges people based on merit. And we have made an enormous amount of progress. And I am damn proud of the country I live in. I am ashamed that some people in the past engaged in that behavior, but I'm proud of the people who fought against it. And those are your ancestors too. You should be damn proud of being part of this place. And I am not going to stand idle while people go back and drag us back to a place where we say, do you have the appropriate amount of melanin in your skin? You do not. Well, that job isn't for you. We are not doing that. What is Two Thumbs going to fight that all the time? This guy. We're not doing it. Forget it. DEI is racist. And yes, this is the time to talk about it, because the government, a lot of corporations, universities, academics, people all over the United States have dug into society and embedded this cancer everywhere. And you damn well know, if you've been a victim of it, you know what it feels like to have busted your ass and not gotten promoted or not gotten a job because you didn't meet some BS quota that had nothing to do with your skills. And here's the real rotting cancer of DEI. And I'm glad Trump brought it up yesterday, and I hope he brings it up again. Even the people who, air quotes, benefit from it are victims too. No, they're not. Yes, they are. Because you know what it does? It breeds animosity. Where people start to say, wait, did that guy get this or that woman get that because she checked some box and not because she worked as hard as I did? What do you think the person who gets passed over thinks? You think they're happy about that? Is that what you want? A bunch of miserable people pissed off that they lost their job, they lost an opportunity, or they lost a raise because they didn't have the right melanin in their skin or sexual orientation? But that's complete crap, man. DEI is racist. I am glad we have a country with strong civil rights laws where if you engage in any racist activity, that guy's not hired because he's black or Hispanic, then your dumbass, ignorant, stupid ass deserves to pay. We already have laws against that. The way to remedy this isn't to flip the script on it. New York Times already blaming Trump. Trump blames DEI and Biden for crash under his watch. Ladies and gentlemen, has it ever occurred to the New York Times that Donald Trump may know something about what happened and the circumstances? I'm not telling you DEI was the cause of this. I am telling you that DEI has embedded itself into the government so that you can't eliminate it as a cause. I want to give a shout out. I got to get these videos, but this is important. I don't usually like monologues this long without some kind of video show formatics, but this is super important. I got a clip of the exchange later, but not this specific part. Greg Gutfeld is a very, very, very insightful guy on Fox. I've known Greg for a long time, and don't mistake his sarcasm and humor. Do not mistake that for any kind of like lack of depth. Greg said something yesterday on the 5 that was absolutely brilliant to Jessica Tarloff. He said that DEI is the mirror to identity politics. Whereas the left will use identity politics, racism, they will blame everything on racism. They lose an election, racism. Voter ID, racist. Police behavior, racist. Without any evidence at all that's true, every single thing is due to racism. Despite an ability to produce a shred of evidence that a lot of what they say, I'm not telling you all of it, but a lot of what they say is true. Greg was brilliant. You know what he said? He said, it's funny how DEI has become the exact opposite. It's like a mirror for them. He's like, DEI, did you ever notice with the left? They're so proud of DEI, but it has nothing to do with anything. Helicopter crash with an agency, ATC, FAA, runs air traffic control. Openly proclaiming DEI is the way forward. Oh, no, that had nothing to do with it. They don't know that yet. Military, lack of readiness and lethality. DEI, that had nothing to do with it. That had nothing to do with it. I'm going to say to Greg, brother, absolutely brilliant point. That I'm not going to steal because I will appropriately credit you, but I'm going to use often and make sure you get the credit. Brilliant point. Racism's the cause of everything on the left. Yet DEI is the cause of absolutely nothing. Here was one of the upper-level deputy director types at the FAA back in 2023 talking about their push. This is in the Biden years for DEI, which is racist, period. There is no argument about that. Pushing for DEI in the FAA, which is responsible for things like not having aircraft collide in the air. Don't listen to me. Listen to them. Check this out.
Hi, I'm Brad Mims, Deputy Administrator at the Federal Aviation Administration. We are looking for the best and brightest to join us as air traffic controllers. We need a diverse group of air traffic controllers to bring distinct perspectives to handle the ever-changing aerospace landscape. I'm calling on students and alumni from HBCUs, Hispanic serving institutions, and tribal colleges to apply now to become air traffic controllers. I don't want anyone interested to miss out on this amazing career opportunity. Make sure you complete your full application during our application window. The short application window ends on May 8th. We need a diverse, next-generation air traffic workforce with people from all backgrounds. So apply now.
We don't need any of that shit. We don't need any of it. You know what we need? Good people who can keep aircraft from colliding and exploding in the sky. And by the way, Mr. Mims, I believe it's not there anymore. Isn't it a little racist to constantly insist that people who are not white are incapable of meeting the same criteria as people who happen to be white? Isn't that racist? Yes, it is. DEI is racist, period. There is no arguing it. You are judging people on characteristics unrelated to their job skills based on race, gender, sex, sexual orientation, LGBTQIA, BIOPC2+. It has nothing to do with merit. Don't get people killed in the skies. None of that stuff has anything to do with anything. Here was one of Biden's nominees to run the FAA at the top. Now, listen, I don't expect these guys. Sometimes managers have different skills. I mean, was it the guy who ran Coke or something at one time, went in to run Apple, but he did a good job. Sometimes people have different skill sets. However, I expect you to know a little bit if you're going to go and run the FAA. Here's Biden's, one of his FAA nominees at the time, who doesn't seem to know a lot about like air traffic, which would kind of be a big deal for the Federal Aviation Administration. I'm just throwing that out there. Check this out.
Mr. Washington, can you quickly tell me what airspace requires an ADS-B transponder?
Not sure I can answer that question right now.
That's okay. We'll just keep going. So that's a pretty important part. So what are the 6 types of special use airspace that protect this national security that appear on FAA charts?
Sorry, Senator, I cannot answer that question.
Okay. So what are the operational limitations of a pilot flying under basic med?
Senator, I'm not a pilot, so...
but obviously you'd oversee the Federal Aviation Administration. So any idea what those restrictions are under basic med, quickly?
Well, some of the restrictions, I think, would be high blood pressure. Some of them would be...
It's more like how many passengers per airplane, how many pounds in different categories, and what altitude you can fly under. So, and then amount of knots. It's under 250 knots. So it's not having anything to do with blood pressure. So can you tell me what causes an aircraft to spin or to stall?
Again, Senator, I'm not a pilot.
This is not fun. I'm not. I can't. Michael brought up a great point. I applaud him on the third jump cut there, where at least gives it a shot. He's like, I think it's like blood pressure. Some guy's like, no, it actually is. It's like weight of the plane and distribution away. But good try, blood pressure. But folks, this guy, I don't know this guy. I'm not going to be an asshole to him. The guy could be brilliant. I don't know. The guy could have been in the widget space before, been the greatest widget maker ever. I don't know. The point is, he just didn't know anything about aviation for the Federal Aviation Administration. Like, I kind of, I don't know, like maybe do a little homework first? Well, I mean, I'm just asking you, where else would this satisfy you if you were a shareholder in a company? You own, say, 7% of $1 billion company, right? They're ready to hire some new, bring on some new board member. Don't you want them to know a little bit about the company before he gets under? Only in the federal government is this okay, because of the third-party payer problem. The government is spending money on other people with other people's money. So they don't care about the cost and they don't care about the quality because they're not buying anything for themselves and it's not their money. Here's Fox News headline. FAA's diversity push includes a focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. Listen, it's serious time, okay? This is a hard segment for me. I have a rather large family on my mother's side. My grandmother was Irish. Well, there was a lot of them. She had 8 sisters. We have a really big family. We've dealt with a lot of issues, a lot of struggles. I've dealt with a lot of this with people very close to me. I'm going to leave their identities out, but it's a serious problem. And I do not mean at all to make light of it. But folks, I can tell you from dealing with people extremely close to me who have had psychiatric disturbances, let's say, and disabilities, you do not want them. It's not a reflection on their character. It's a problem. A lot of it's genetic. You do not want them doing air traffic control where a mistake means people die, and a lot of them. When Donald Trump said yesterday, this is common sense, it should be. Now, of course, the media wants to paint Donald Trump as callous and hard and attacking people, which he did no such thing. I want you to ignore that like you did the bloodbath hoax, debunk it, and move on. Folks, these are not the positions for people who have these kind of issues that they're getting through in their lives. People's lives are at stake here. Do you understand? This is common sense, and I mean it. It is sense that's so common that because if anyone else said it other than Donald Trump, it would make sense. This is insane. Here was that segment I talked to you about. Now, I left the part out with Greg because I addressed that myself. But here is the Queen of the Curve, Jessica Tarlov, again, who, what I find amazing about her segments on the 5 is whereas Greg will just, you ever see Greg? Greg will just sit back. I can't get enough of the 5. He maybe has some notes in front, but he'll just sit back and take it all in and extemporaneously go back at Tarlov. I want you to watch this from now on. Tarlov is always reading from notes. It's some focus group or Democrat operation that gave her these talking points. Do you ever notice she's always reading from her notes? Watch. This is what she does all the time. She gives you some focus group tested talking point a Democrat fed her about this thing. Here she is, again, trying to blame Trump. Guy's been in office, 10 days when this happened? 9 days? Listen to this.
Moment to be talking about those things, and there is a moment to just be a consoler in chief. And I thought that CNN's aviation expert, Pete Muntean, put it well. He said what he said is not only unprofessional, unpresidential, inconsiderate of the status of the investigation, but it's frankly unhinged. This DEI policy was put into...
You agreed that was unhinged, what he did?
I think coming out, and the first part when he was reading off the prompter was correct. Whoever wrote it, if it was Stephen Miller or someone else, that sounded like somebody who was actually thinking of the families of the people who had just passed away. And then he had a campaign rally in the middle of what should have been a somber occasion. And these DEI policies were put in place in 2013. He had every opportunity through his first administration to revoke them if they thought they were terrible.
She's been given the talking points. She's reading the notes. And again, these people are such frauds that it's really hard for me to take. This is not the time for this. The same losers on the left, when there is a school shooting and kids' bodies have not even been brought out of the school, are immediately condemning, say it happens, God forbid, in Florida, a farmer in Idaho who has a handgun. Because he has a handgun, he's guilty too. And you're faulting Donald Trump for going up there and saying, hey, we got a problem. This tragedy just happened, and we're moving on this right away. Unreal. If you haven't seen that whole segment, I encourage you to listen to it. Because again, reads from the notes, focus group tested talking points only, not a single extemporaneous creative thought, easily debunked by Greg, Jesse, Dana, and elsewhere. I got another exchange coming up. There was a Tucker Carlson clip when he still had his 8 o'clock show on Fox, showing you that this problem, and by the way, she's like, oh yeah, this lasted through the Trump administration. This stuff has lasted forever because the left keeps suing over it. It's unbelievable how they stick to these talking points and people just don't fire back. Really? Trump's a DEI supporter. Are you sure about that? Didn't you guys sue endlessly over this stuff? He's been trying to schedule left federal employees to get rid of unnecessary dead weight in the federal government that's not pulling away for years. Did you miss that? Of course she didn't miss it. It just wasn't on her talking point sheet. That's why she's the queen of the Karens. That's why I respect Harold Ford. So at least he has an independent thought once in a while. I got this video from Tucker coming up next in case you, which I know it doesn't apply to you, but if you're a liberal watching today and you think, oh my gosh, this is a new problem. I mean, Donald Trump. No, this isn't a new problem. This is an ongoing problem. Trump and Republicans, the good ones, have been trying to fix forever. I'll be right back to that quick break. Hey, if you want to carry a firearm for protection, you need to join an organization I've been with forever, the USCCA. People like you and me can't risk it. Imagine rotting in prison. It's happened just because you used the gun in self-defense. You've seen it in the headlines. If a good guy with a gun defends himself or others, he's probably more likely to get locked up than the actual criminal. Even with the new administration, the justice system, especially in a lot of these liberal states, is absolutely no friend to gun owners like you. That's why I've been a member of the USCCA for years. And right now, the USCCA is giving away a free concealed carry and family defense guide and the chance to win $1,200 to buy a firearm or any gear you need to protect your family, all 100% free. You can get it when you visit uscca.com/Dan. Please go today. Protect yourself. You're going to learn how to detect attackers before they see you, equipment and training basics, how to responsibly own and store a gun, and a whole lot more. It's a 58-page guide loaded with valuable information. Visit uscca.com/Dan. You'll get instant access and a chance to win $1,200 to buy the gear you need. Go to uscca.com/Dan now, uscca.com/Dan. Great organization. I've been a member for a long time. Check them out. Thanks, USCCA. All right, back to the show. You think this is a new problem, folks? The left that's so eager to say DEI had nothing to do with this. You don't know that. I admitted to you in the beginning of the show. Do I know it's the sole reason we had this aircraft tragedy? I don't know that. I don't know that yet. The Bongino rule matters. But I'm not closing off the possibility either. Here's a Tucker Carlson clip from a while ago exposing the FAA for prioritizing racist DEI over merit. And people die when you do that. Watch this.
A biographical questionnaire whose purpose was not hiring skilled controllers. In fact, the more skills you had, the fewer points you got, perversely. But instead, the point was ensuring the hiring of people who were of the right race. It was insane, of course, dangerous, yes, and it sparked a major reaction. Now, the Department of Transportation says it is ready to revise those policies in the name of public safety. Stephen Bradbury is the General Counsel of the Department of Transportation, and he joins us tonight. Mr. Bradbury, thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me on, Tucker.
So it was a pretty simple story, and I think the fix is pretty simple. Can you assure our viewers that air traffic controllers will be hired solely on the basis of relevant criteria? In other words, how good they are at air traffic controlling, and not on the basis of irrelevant criteria like their appearance?
That's right. We're making a change to no longer use that biographical assessment that the FAA has used since 2014 and that you featured on your show.
There were Trump people battling this stuff. This has been going on for a long time, folks. Or you can believe Jessica Tarloff, who's had to frequently correct herself on the air for nonsense. You want to believe the truth or Queen of the Karens? They've been fighting this crap forever. People are going to die. Here's NBC News, of course. Republicans pounce how right-wing influencers turned airplanes and airports into culture war battlegrounds. We didn't do it, dipshit. You guys did it. Nobody thinks airplanes and airports are racist. We're just exposing you guys for being racist, for running airplanes and airports with a racist policy. Don't blame us. David Ingram, a source of constant litanies of BS out of NBC. Here's Jackie Heinrich at Fox on Twitter. New York Times, control tower staffing was not normal during deadly crash, FAA says. Maybe if they weren't so focused on DIE, maybe you would have had enough people in there to prevent 67 souls from being snuffed out. The controller on duty was doing a job usually handled by 2 people. Collision between the jet and the helicopter killed 67 people. Bodies are still being recovered. Give us the 67 people back. Unscrew yourselves, man. Why is this only acceptable in government? Because, again, they don't care. The government steals your money to pay other people. It's not their money, and they're not even buying anything for themselves. The only reason they may care about this is because D.C. lawmakers fly out of Reagan and don't want to die. It may be the only reason you get some change out of this. Folks, this is just disgusting stuff. And if we don't rip this DEI racist crap out root and branch, then we're not going to have a government left. You are breeding and watering seeds of mistrust, and people really start to get bitter at other people when they feel like they lost out to someone else for all the wrong reasons. We already have strong EEO and civil rights laws in this country. It is illegal to discriminate based on race, period. It's not extra illegal. It's illegal now. You think you're going to find a sympathetic ear if you go to the media and say, I have proof of anti-black, anti-Hispanic, anti-Asian racism? The media will jump all over that story. You have legal and PR avenues to handle this now. The solution isn't a system-wide overhaul where we then discriminate against an entirely different group of people, Asians in colleges, white men in work. I thought this was fairly obvious. Okay, we're going to switch gears here for a second. And listen, get ready. What do we got? 138, almost 140. Nice crowd today. Covered nicely. Yesterday, our audience got a little bit. We were still number one, thank you, by far. But still, the Trump presser, I think, understandably, some people watch cable, watch us on demand later. I may lose some of you here, and I'm going to say that in advance. I hope I don't. But I'm making an executive decision. Folks, this segment is about economics. It's about 1:30. It's from a guy I really like, this Peter St. Onge. You should follow him on X. He does a lot of great videos on economics, and he makes them digestible. 3 minutes or less. You will learn so much. I love economics. I'm passionate about it. There is a massive proposal out there by Donald Trump that is going to interest, even if you're listening right now, and go, I hate economics. You won't hate this. Donald Trump, right? Even Justin, listen to this one. This one, I'm telling you, this is a game breaker. Break the game wide open. If Donald Trump can convince the Republican Congress to get rid of the income tax for a system of tariffs instead, ladies and gentlemen, the economy will absolutely explode like you have not seen since the Reagan years, maybe bigger. The explosion of capital and investment in the United States and the basically $30,000 or so raise a lot of people are going to get will absolutely blow our economy up like you've never seen before. I want you to watch this St. Onge video. It's about 1:30. But man, does he lay it out about what exactly this would do. It's worth your time. Please listen. Check this out.
Donald Trump is doubling down on completely repealing the income tax, replacing it with tariffs on foreigners. The left, who uses the income tax to suck the blood from the American people on behalf of giant corporations, and pink-haired child mutilators are popping their little heads. Now, during the campaign, Trump had repeatedly mused, what if we just get rid of the income tax and abolish the IRS? The left was not taking him seriously because, like politicians say all kinds of stuff when they're trying to get elected. But now, with the election safely under his belt, Trump is not letting it go. In fact, he's doubling down. In an address to a major GOP policy retreat in Florida, Trump ran through the history of the tariff, how America was much richer as a country when we funded the federal government not off the blood, sweat, and tears of the American people, but off foreigners in the form of tariffs. Of course, that golden age ended in 1913 with the left's victorious imposition of an income tax that was originally promised as only hitting the top 1%, but today, of course, hits everybody. Now, I've talked about the tariffs for income tax trade-off, but in short, if you get rid of the income tax and replace it with tariffs, you're looking at a $1.5 trillion net decline in federal taxes, so you would need Elon's Doge to cut spending. In return, you would massively raise income, raise economic growth, and lower inflation. I've estimated the average American household would see something like a $30,000 rise in annual income. It's about 40%, and it comes to about $2,500 per month. About half of that would come from the taxes you no longer pay, the other half from higher economic growth, since we would no longer be taxing work or entrepreneurship.
Folks, that's one of the best minute and 30s you're ever going to hear. Can you imagine what an extra $20,000 to $30,000 a year would do for you? Do you have any idea? That's life-changing money. Life-changing money. A year. Over 10 years, you're talking about the value of many of people's homes. $30K in your wallet? Now, I will say one thing. There would have to be massive, wasteful government spending cuts, which is what we want. Because in the beginning, there's going to be some dislocation. And if you want to understand the math, it's very simple. Wall Street Journal, Don Luskin has a good piece about this. This is why. The income base, in other words, the amount of United States total income we tax on the income tax is $25 trillion. Throw that piece up if you could. So we're taxing $25 trillion of income, okay? So you get a percentage of that, the United States government, okay? If we're going to tax only imports and tariffs, the base is a maximum of $3 trillion. So in other words, they say that means a 10% tariff would have an effect roughly equivalent to a 1.3% increase in personal tax rates. What I'm getting at is there are things we do have to fund. We have to pay interest on our national debt or no one's going to lend us money again. We have to fund our military. You know, we have a bunch of seniors on Social Security who spent their whole lives. We can't just say, hey, screw it, you're all going to die. We can't do that. It's going to take a while to wind down all this spending. However, this may be Donald Trump's most bold, brilliant idea yet. He would transform the entire country if he did it. If we had to graduate it down and graduate it up tariff, my gosh, could you imagine what it'd be like to not have to deal with the IRS again? I know some of you like economic segments. Some of you don't. I'm just telling you, you want the United States to be twice and 3 times as rich in 5 to 10 years. You do that and you'll watch what happens. This place will freaking explode. $30,000. Can you imagine what you do with that? Quick break. I want to get to Kash Patel yesterday. So much happened during that hearing. I told you Kash was the guy. This guy is kicking ass and taking names. I never let you down with my picks. J.D. Vance, Kash Patel, these are your guys. Hey, we've all seen the headlines. Cyber attacks on the grid, drones in the sky, violent attacks on Americans. The ugly truth is no leader, no system are going to protect you from every emergency. You want to be standing in line in an emergency, waiting on government food? Good luck. You're going to starve to death, and so is everyone around you. When crisis hits, food's the first casualty. Everybody panic buys, too. Not me. I'm prepared with My Patriot Supply. I have a 4-week emergency food kit, multiples, for every member of my family. What's in it? About 2,000 calories a day and 100% of your daily value of 12 essential vitamins and minerals. The food will keep you strong when every meal matters in an emergency. My Patriot Supply foods are packed in ultra-durable, heavy-duty pouches. They can last up to 2.5 decades in storage. Right now, they're offering $50 off their 4-week food kit. Get more than one. Go to mypatriotsupply.com now and grab yours for $50 off. Don't put this off. Now's the time to prepare, not after an emergency. That's mypatriotsupply.com for your 4-week emergency food kit today. mypatriotsupply.com. And our last sponsor today is MyPillow. Listen, I used to wake up sore from head to toe. I used to whine about it all the time. Now, for the first time in years, I've been sleeping great because I changed my pillow a while ago to a MyPillow. I love it. I sleep so comfortable on it. I have no more neck pain. You'll get a standard classic MyPillow for wholesale prices, only $14.88, but it gets better. For a limited time, they're going to offer their entire classic collection at wholesale prices. Get queen-size MyPillows for just $18.88. Upgrade to a king for only $1 more. Get the body pillows for $29.88. I love that, by the way, because my shoulders. And multi-use MyPillows for only $9.88. They're so sure you'll be satisfied. They offer a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Plus, all orders over $75 ship absolutely free. MyPillow is offering an amazing deal on their classic MyPillow collection, so go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio podcast square or call 1-800-637-4982 or go to MyPillow.com. Use promo code Dan to get these unbelievable offers. Once again, that's 1-800-637-4982 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code Dan. Don't lose another night of good sleep. Thank you, MyPillow. Okay, getting back to the hearing yesterday. Folks, I told you Cash was the guy. I know Cash personally. I don't let my personal relationships get in the way of my show. I owe you better. I'm just telling you who Cash is personally is who Cash is publicly. Cash is a good man. Cash has been the victim of all of this deep state BS that's happened. And I want you to know this. People forget this. You guys ready? Don't ever forget Devin Nunes and Cash Patel. Devin Nunes and Cash Patel, if it wasn't for those two, you would know absolutely nothing about the collusion hoax. You wouldn't. They were the ones, those two guys. Others got on later. They were the two guys who cracked this thing open from the inside. And because of that, their lives were turned upside down. Cash knows what it's like. Cash also knows the dirty details behind January 6th. Ladies and gentlemen, I've told you 1,000 times, I wish things would have went down different, okay? I'm not going to sit here and tell you everything was great that day. No, that's not what happened. But there is zero question right now, zero, that what happened that day, the full story's never been told. Whether it's been the mobilization of the National Guard, federal involvement in that day, I know happened. And in addition, the identity of the pipe bomber, someone is hiding a deep, dark secret about what happened on January 6th. This is the real reason the left hates Cash Patel, by the way. Here he is addressing the National Guard and who was called and when was called. The left doesn't want this story out there because they want to look like, oh, we're clean of all this. We had nothing to do with anything. Oh, really? Check this out.
What were you doing on that day?
On that day specifically, responding to preparing to mobilize and deploy the National Guard once we got the lawful request from the local governing authority, which was the mayor of D.C. and the Speaker of the House.
Now, how many days in advance were you working to prepare the Department of Defense to help secure the Capitol on January 6th?
Days in advance, Senator. We were in the Oval Office on an unrelated national security matter with the President of the United States, the Secretary of Defense, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and myself. And the President authorized up to 20,000 plus National Guardsmen and women to secure any security measures necessary related to the Capitol. So we were moving to the fullest extent of the law before the requisite request came from a local governing authority days ahead of time.
And while you were Chief of Staff at DOD, how many times did DOD approach Capitol Police and ask if they needed National Guard assistance?
I believe those letters are well documented, numerous instances, and numerous of those instances, those requests were shut down.
Now, am I correct that the Capitol Sergeant at Arms said assistance was unnecessary?
That's correct, Senator.
Who did the Sergeant at Arms report to?
The Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the House? Wasn't that Pelosi? Folks, they just don't want to tell you the whole story. Here, you want a really quick, simple, easy pro tip on how to never look like a liberal, foolish, hypocritical, piece of garbage, filthy, far-left communist Democrat? Just tell the truth. Yeah, man, January 6th went down this way. I got a lot of objections to a lot of things. I have a lot of objections to you lying to me, too. You're telling me Nancy Pelosi knew nothing about the security situation at all? Cash Patel is telling you on the record after being sworn in, there are memos documenting this. They're not telling you the full story because they don't want to. I don't care what, all I'm going to tell you is the damn truth. If you don't like the truth, the show's not for you. It's okay. Why do you want to be lied to all the time? This is the real reason they don't want Cash around. Here he is responding up on the Hill to these absolute BS Democrat attacks on this man's character. Cash is a good and decent guy. I've been around him quite a bit. Cash is one of those guys, I'm going to tell you right now, when you pick up the phone, he's like Pete Hegseth, Secretary Hegseth now. You call this guy up, if he doesn't get back to you, he'll call you immediately because he's in some kind of meeting or something. Every single time. Here he is yesterday on these Democrat attacks against him. Check this out.
the best attacks on me are going to be false accusations and grotesque mischaracterizations, the only thing this body is doing is defeating the credibility of the men and women at the FBI. I stood with them here in this country. In every theater of war we have, I was on the ground in service of this nation. And any accusations leveled against me that I would somehow put political bias before the Constitution are grotesquely unfair. And I will have you reminded that I have been endorsed by over 300,000 law enforcement officers to become the next director of the FBI. Let's ask them.
Mr. Chairman.
You know what's fascinating, too? If you're a piece of garbage, progressive, commie, leftist, what's the first thing you're doing right now if Kash Patel was a Democrat nominee? You guys know? What's the first thing you're doing? Oh, that's definitely racist. You're going after the brown guy? 100%. 100 freaking percent. Why am I not doing that? Because it's not true. The Democrats are, many of them are racist, but that's not why they're going after Kash. They're going after Kash because of what I just told you. He's going to uncover the full January 6th story. He's going to stop the FBI weaponization of power, which the left loves. And that pisses him off. But I'm not a lying piece of garbage progressive commie. It's definitely racist. Kash, by the way, was targeted by a weaponized government. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget your history on this. Edutainment, right? Here we go. Educational entertainment. Kash Patel and Devin Nunes were ruthlessly targeted. Phones taken, investigations, subpoenas, because they uncovered scumbag Adam Schiff's absolute fabrication of a Russian collusion fairy tale, which destroyed our country for 4 years and still is rippling through international politics. He was targeted himself. Can you think of a better guy to run the FBI than a guy who's been on the other end of federal government weaponized justice system prosecutions? Listen to this.
Senator, this may be one of the scenarios that most uniquely qualifies me to take command at the FBI. Having been the victim of government overreach and a weaponized system of justice and law enforcement, I know what it feels like to have the full weight of the United States government barreling down on you. And as the Biden Inspector General determined, those activities by the FBI and DOJ were wholly improper and not predicated upon law and facts. I will ensure, if confirmed, that no American is subjected to that kind of torment, to that kind of cost, financially and personally. And most importantly, I will make sure that no American is subjected to death threats like I was, and subjected to moving their residences like I was, because of government overreach, because of leaks of information about my personal status. If confirmed as FBI director, Mr. Chairman, you have my commitment that no one in this country will feel that pain.
Two things, and I don't want to make this story about me, but it is my show, and I feel the need to inject this into it. Number one, notice how Kash talks about how they made the process financially painful for him. Folks, that's a real thing. Kash is not a multi-quadrillionaire. They endlessly put this guy through legal hell in an attempt to do what they did to Donald Trump, make the process punishment, okay? That's why he mentioned that. Second, Kash had to move. I never told you this. It's not the only reason, so I don't want to exaggerate or be ridiculous, but one of the reasons we got out of here too and had to take, because I mistakenly, my address got public. I made a political donation one time and I put down the address rather than a P.O. box. And it was a disaster. It just turned into a mess. We had people showing up at the house. I had some crazy guy show up. I had the Martin County Sheriff had a look. I mean, it turned into a total train wreck, folks. Guys showed up all the time. This is not, folks, it's not me. I'm not a fake tough guy. How many times I got to tell you? I got arthritis in every bone in my body. I don't know if I can fight my way out of a wet paper bag anymore. The Karate Man thing is a joke, okay? I don't know karate or nothing anymore, okay? If you're lucky, we'll fall on the ground and maybe I'll remember some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but I'm not even sure, okay? It's about my family. I got a family. I've got young kids, okay? This is not, when this happens to you, and knock on wood, God forbid it ever does, it's not about you. Yeah, I'll shoot you if you come to my house. Really? In front of your kids? You're gonna do anything? Yeah, if I have to, I have to. So believe me, if that's the kind of thing you want, it ain't me. Want a dead body in your house? Every time you walk by your kitchen, you got to think, that guy was bleeding out over it. Is that what you want? I don't want that. Nobody knows better than Cash. Now, let me show you, this is my last one with Cash, but I want to show you the most pathetic part of yesterday's hearing. It has nothing to do with Cash. It has everything to do with this scumbag, Adam Schiff, who, folks, he is not the dumbest member of Congress. That's AOC. The dumbest male member of Congress is obviously Dan Goldman. The most corrupt, evil, demonic member of Congress, I have zero doubt, well, Senate side now, but Congress in general, is Adam Schiff. You will never meet a bigger scumbag in your life. This guy does not have a shred of human dignity. His DNA is composed of only evil pears. This is evil personified. This is a guy who was exposed. He's questioning Kash Patel, who exposed him lying about the biggest political scandal of our time, a fake collusion fairy tale that destroyed the country for years. Adam Schiff, remarkably, I think should be in prison for some of the stuff he did, is a United States senator, got a promotion because liberals love these evil demons, right? Schiff has the balls to start attacking Kash Patel for trying to help out some people involved in January 6th, and then has even bigger balls to talk about how Kash Patel should do due diligence. Diligence. Oh, I got a due diligence segment for you coming up, but listen to this exchange first. This guy makes me sick. Check this out.
And here you did no diligence to find out whether people you were associating with now the President of the United States in song were convicted of attacking police officers. Is that who we want running the FBI? I want you to turn around. There are Capitol Police officers behind you. They're guarding us. Take a look at them right now. Turn around.
I'm looking at you. You're talking to me.
No, look at them. I want you to look at them if you can, if you have the courage to look them in the eye, Mr. Patel, and tell them you're proud of what you did. Tell them you're proud that you raised money off of people that assaulted their colleagues, that pepper sprayed them, that beat them with poles. Tell them you're proud of what you did, Mr. Patel. They're right there. They're guarding you today. Tell them how proud you are.
That's an abject lie, and you know it. I've never, ever accepted violence against law enforcement. I've worked with these men and women, as you know,
you
my entire
glorified
life,
it in song,
and I did not make a single dime out of it.
In song. Well, let me.
How about you ask them if I have their backs, and let's see about that answer.
Let me ask you this.
Guy's a scumbag. Guy's the biggest piece of garbage, evil demon we have in the United States Senate. The fact that this guy was promoted in the state of California is a wart on the ass of humankind. What Adam Schiff did to this country is a disgrace. He is a documented buffoon, liar, and he is an evil demon. That is all this guy is. He is a disgraceful, disgusting human being. He's talking about Cash doing due diligence. You mean the due diligence he did when he put together the Nunes memo with Devin Nunes and exposed you for being a scumbag? You mean that? By the way, did you do due diligence? Justin and Michael reminded me this morning. They're like, Dan, due diligence. Wasn't Adam Schiff the guy who got pranked by two Russian comedians because he didn't do Russian due diligence, pretending they had fake pictures of Donald Trump naked? I was like, oh my gosh, that happened, didn't it? No. Maybe. I said, remind me. So they pulled this clip, and it turns out this is real. Due diligence, Adam Schiff, dumbass. Listen to this.
She got compromising materials on Trump after their short relations.
Okay. And what's the nature of the compromise?
Well, there were pictures of naked Trump.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so Putin was made aware of the availability of the compromising material?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We will be back in touch with you through our staff to make arrangements to obtain these materials for our committee and for the FBI, and I appreciate you reaching out to us.
This piece of human garbage, Schiff, was the top Democrat on the Intel committee and didn't even have the sense to do due diligence and say, hey, is this really compromise or a couple of Russian comedians making me look like an a-hole? Listen, people get burned all the time, folks. It happens. This was an easy one. Due diligence. Good for Kash Patel. Folks, Bongino Army, I need you here. I'm going to move on a second. I got another clip here coming up about the Brandon Johnson, probably the second or third worst mayor in America. There are worse. But I'm going to ask you again as a favor. Please, Bongino Army, send another email to your senators. I don't care what state you're in. It doesn't matter. Respectfully worded, or else it does no good. Please support Kash Patel. We do. We are constituents. Thank you for your time. Very simple. It matters. They listen. I know you guys are hardcore voters who never miss an election. They are going to look you up. These people do not want to get primaried. They do not want to engage in a close election. All they want to do is stay in power. Republicans, Democrats, all of them. Please send that email. This is politics, is a participation sport, not a spectator sport. I need you to do it. Please. It's a critical vote. We don't get this guy in at the FBI, you're never going to get any answers at all. You want to see? Did I not tell you guys to go? The show not over, but I'm like, we are not ending the show without playing this. If you live in a city like Chicago or Los Angeles with Karen Bass, who I think right now is probably the worst mayor in America, Brandon Johnson from Chicago is up there. Maybe it's a tie for number one. I don't know. Maybe they split the gold medal. There are so many awful liberal city big mayors. It's really hard to keep track. I mean, it's no point in even keeping a checklist and go on forever. Be like the board of Democrat hoaxes. Trump's been in office 10 days. We're going to need a new board soon. But Brandon Johnson's asked a simple question about ICE raids in the city of Chicago. He's like, hey, bro, didn't they just pick up a guy, like some hardcore criminal who was like, terrorizing your city? You going to help out about that? Hey, man, that's not my job. People in Chicago get killed, raped, murdered. I mean, it's not like I have anything to do with that. No. Oh, yeah, listen to yourself. Check this out.
Tom Homan showed up in Chicago and within 24 hours found a convicted sex offender who has been living in our city since 2009, flouting the sex offender registry. If he can do this, why can't you?
Because that's their job. That is their job. The federal
Their
government
job's not to keep
has
the people of Chicago
responsibility
safe.
to make sure that individuals who are undocumented, who have been charged with, convicted of a crime, it is the federal government's responsibility to do their part and uphold the law. Our local police department, along with our public health department, along with our other sister agencies, are working to build a better, stronger, safer Chicago. And as we've stated repeatedly, those critical investments, you continue to see the results of those investments as violent crime continues to fall in Chicago. Thank you very much.
Folks, this is the liberal ethos. This is why I wake up every morning, like many of you, and thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ that I am not dumb enough to be a liberal. This guy is running on be a liberal, be a progressive, big government's going to solve all your problems. Reporter presents him with a problem. You have all these criminals who are in the country illegally. If you were just to cooperate with ICE, ICE could go in the jails and get rid of them. What's his response? Not my freaking job, bro. How do you live in this? We're on WLS in Chicago on the radio. How do you live in this city with this moron? Are you even interested in results? Like, hey, I don't want to get raped or killed or murdered or home invaded. This is your guy? This is the best you can do. Pull up that Malugin tweet, by the way. Here's Bill Malugin from Fox. You want to see what results look like when your government's run by Donald Trump and not this idiot in Chicago? Per sources, Border Patrol just recorded 582 illegal crossings at the southern border, with not a single one of the 9 sectors hitting 200. Well, what does that mean? Malugin says, good reporter here, I've never seen anything this low in all of my border coverage. The numbers were already flat low in Biden's final week because they were flying everyone in with the CBP app. But even with that, they bounced between 1,200 and 1,400 illegal crossings a day. But the numbers have fallen off a cliff since Trump took office. Last 3 days, 665, 731, 582. That's what results look like, bro. That's what happens when you've got a guy in charge saying, listen, Federalist 51, if men were angels. They're not. Unfortunately, we need a little bit of government, as little as possible. But if we're going to run this place, one of our jobs is national security. You're not entering the country illegally on my watch. What happens? Wow, people get the message. They stop coming here illegally. This isn't hard to figure out, man. This is who Democrats really are. You know what? Go to this Jesse Waters, Tim Walz snitch line thing. This is another one. I'm sorry, I can't leave without playing this. Folks, it's Friday. I'll have you on the radio here in a few minutes, so we'll be back with you for the next 3 hours if you want to watch on Rumble and Locals. However, it's Friday, so I want to leave you in a little bit of a good mood. And sometimes even clips like this that highlight how genuinely awful liberal Karens are, this is kind of funny to listen to. Get out of liberal cities as soon as you can. The liberal Karens you're living around hate your guts. They are big government, like Soviet style. They will report against you in a minute. Read Solzhenitsyn's The First Circle. They will turn you in as soon as they can when they get back in power for the gulags. Here's a segment on Jesse Waters' show. This Minnesota under Tim Walz had a snitch line during COVID for people not wearing masks. Listen to all the losers calling it, I'm a little restaurant and this guy had a shield, but not a mask. This really happened. This is not a joke. Check this out.
One parish was giving communion in the parking lot, inspiring someone to write, nothing in the Bible says they should risk their lives and the lives of others just to receive an offering. Hundreds of others just sent in pictures of children playing outside without masks. Here's 6 kids playing basketball. Super spreader event. Here's another one. And if you thought the emails were bad, get ready for the voicemails. One woman called in to report people jogging without masks.
I rode my bike. I was not wearing a mask. Past groups of people jogging from CrossFit. There were groups of 4 and 5. They weren't wearing masks. They were not social distancing. I wasn't wearing a mask on my bike either, but I wasn't riding with people, and I was trying to stay away from people.
No businesses were safe either.
Oh, folks, this goes on. That segment goes on for like 5 minutes. You know what? Justin just brought something interesting. He's like, you know that one of those women sounds like, was that Tarlov? Rad people? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm just putting that. I don't think it was. I'm reasonably. It's a joke. It's a joke. Greg, I mean tip line. So someone went out. One of them sounds like Joy Reid. Is that Joy Reid? Folks, get out of these liberal cities as soon as you can. These are your neighbors there. I lived in them my entire life. New York City, when I grew up, was not like this. It transformed. Get out of these places as soon as you can. Move to Florida, move to Texas. Only if you're a conservative. If you're a liberal, we're closed. There's a passport check at the border. You're not going to make it. I'm very sorry to tell you that.